friends. This is not a normal vlog, but it is a very, very important vlog to what I have planned for my upcoming vlogs, so bear with me. So I am embarking on a new channel series about my 30 before 30 bucket list. So essentially, I started this bucket list of all of the things that I wanted to do before turning 30, and that time is fast approaching, and I have a lot of bucket list items I need to accomplish. So I figured I'd start a really cool vlog series about it and get you guys in on the action. So in this video specifically, this is gonna be kind of like an introduction to the reasoning behind the bucket list, some of the items that are on it, as well as some of the items that I have already accomplished, but maybe didn't get the chance to do a full dedicated video for. So this is just kind of a recap, a catch up, and a review video before we really dive in deep to some of these bucket list items. So it'll make more sense. Let's hop into what this bucket list even is. All right, so I guess to introduce myself, hi, I'm Jacy, in case you're new here. I have a lot of subscribers on this channel, but a lot of people follow me because of my YouTube shorts, which are just like my recycled TikToks, and not so much for the vlogs. But I'm gonna change that with this new series because I'm hoping it'll be really interesting for you guys to check out and click on it when you see that little thumbnail. But essentially, this series is going to be all about my bucket list. So I turn 30 this year. I know, I'm so youthful and wrinkle-free, you probably couldn't even tell. You probably could, because I'm old and wise and annoying. But before I reach this milestone birthday, there were some things in life that I was like, I can't believe I haven't done that and I'm about to turn 30. Maybe I should just try to do them before my big birthday, which is on July 23rd, so in summer of 2023. Now, some of the things that I was envisioning range from like helpful and free to like super bougie and things that like people could only dream of in their lifetime. For example, I have not donated blood in my adulthood, and that's something that's super important. I wanted to volunteer more and give more of my time. But then the bougie things are like, I've never been to a Michelin star restaurant. That would be pretty cool. Or I've never flown first class. You know what? Maybe I should treat myself. So I started kind of writing down all of the things that I wanted to accomplish before I turned 30. And I ended up posting on Instagram like, hey, what are your guys' recommendations for things you should do before you turn 30? And I was flooded with so many terrific responses. Some of them were a little undoable before my birthday in like 6 months at this time. Like people were saying, learn a new language. And I'm like, Duolingo can only do so much for me in 4 months, but I like the attitude. So everyone's Instagram responses really inspired me. Also, if you're not following me on Instagram, you should, because that is gonna be the secondary place where you can find all of these bucket list items. But hearing so many of these great responses, I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. I can't believe I've never ridden in a limo. I maybe should go skydiving for my 30th birthday. I got so inspired that I created this 30 before 30 bucket list, and they were 30 items that I wanted to complete before my birthday that, again, ranged from general life experiences or things that would benefit society, as well as just silly little personal things that I think a lot of people should try at least once in their life. There were also some really great suggestions of things that I have done before. So that's another thing to note with this bucket list. They are all things that I personally have never done before, or at least in my adulthood. For example, the donating blood. I think I did that when I was like 14 years old in high school to get out of soccer practice, but I've never actually done it altruistically in my adulthood, and that's something I would like to start doing. So I started some bucket list items, and I started just kind of posting them on Instagram, and I will be going over what some of those things are. And this bucket list kind of took on a life of its own, where I would go into work and people would be like, oh my gosh, I saw your bucket list. I'll help you out with this one. Or friends would be calling me being like, hey, like, how's the bucket list coming along? Like, what else have you accomplished? And it was kind of cool that people were more invested than I thought. And it encouraged me to get a lot more invested in it too. Which is why I am creating this introduction video, because from here on out, I have less than 3 months to accomplish about 20 items on my bucket list. I am about 10 down in real time. I have 20 things to do in less than 3 months. It's gonna be pricey, it's gonna be time consuming, and it is going to be the majority of my vlog channel through the remaining summer. So my plan is to have a dedicated video per bucket list item for the most part. But the trade-off for this is I'm kind of going all out with production. I am creating the side stories. I'm taking you with me from start to finish. It's not just me going to a dance class. It's me practicing for the dance class, interviewing other dancers, getting tips, that sort of thing. And I have vlogged some of the items, and I have briefly mentioned this bucket list video without even like properly explaining it. But I really want to do these more dedicated videos because if you guys follow me on my main channel, for like a year now, I don't know what's wrong with me. I've been bitching about wanting to create my own talk show, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just hard to coordinate with guests or if I just don't have the mental energy to do it. But I've always had this vision of bringing on a guest, interviewing them about a story time, and then we do an activity related to the story time. So an example would be, I have a friend who almost got paralyzed after being bucked off a horse. So we go ride horses and pet horses, and then she tells her story. And I was always super attached to the idea, but I just could never bring it to fruition. And in doing these bucket list items, I've noticed that it's actually been starting to happen organically, and that this can just be a form of the TV show that I've always wanted to start. So for example, one of the next videos you will be seeing on this channel in the coming weeks is I went to a Renaissance fair. That was one of my bucket list items. I've always wanted to get dressed up and immerse myself into the fantasy world of a Renaissance fair. So I take you through thrifting my entire outfit, creating my costume. We go to the Renaissance fair, but then I also interview my brother and his girlfriend who are like semi-professional cosplayers and what they enjoy about the Renaissance fair and getting all dressed up. So it's a little bit of everything, and I hope to create these like vlogs that are almost just mini episodes into cool bucket list item things that you guys can implement in your own lives. So I've just been so excited about it. I have booked so many different classes and experiences and activities that are on this list, and I really can't wait to bring you guys some of the episodes. So now let's get into what's on the bucket list. I won't tell you every single thing that's on the bucket list. It has all 30 items, and then I also have an Instagram highlight reel of the things that I've accomplished before. But just to give you a brief overview, here are some things that are on it. I want to learn a magic trick. I want to bake a pie, which funny enough, baking is something that I've never done, so that's an easy one to accomplish. But some more time-intensive ones would be, I want to take a solo trip. I want to fly first class. And I want to ride in a limo. I have never been in a limo. I guess I never sold enough goods in the elementary school fundraiser to get that limo out to lunch. So I want to ride in a limo. So they kind of vary in terms of random life experiences, but we're going to accomplish them in the next 2.5 months. But let me give you a brief overview of the things that I have accomplished so far. So the first item that I was able to accomplish off my bucket list was smoking a cigar. Now, I don't recommend this for everybody. I personally have asthma, but I knew I've always wanted to smoke a cigar because a lot of people use it for celebratory reasons, cultural reasons, and I was like, I want to smoke a cigar one day. I will say this, don't come for me, but I have on my bucket list later in life to smoke a cigarette looking at the Eiffel Tower. I'll get one cigarette for my life, and it's going to be in Paris, eating a baguette and drinking a glass of wine. That was weird. Sorry, that's beside the point. So I smoked my first cigar this past summer at my beautiful sister's wedding in Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico definitely is a bustling cigar industry, and she actually got a cigar roller to come to her wedding and kind of be one of the forms of entertainment. So you go up to the cigar bar, and it was so funny because the man was like, oh, like, have you smoked a cigar before? And I was like, is it that obvious? I told him no, and he actually gave me what he called a lady cigar. He said that his wife had hand rolled it with like vanilla inside, so it tasted good. It was a little bit thinner, not as strong. And then I just smoked my cigar with all of my cousins, my family members, and it was fun. I get the appeal of like the social activity of smoking a cigar. It didn't hurt my lungs as badly as I thought. And you best believe I got so many freaking pictures with this cigar in my mouth because I knew it was the only time I'd ever do it. But I don't know. I kind of had a fun time. I could see why smoking a cigar feels a lot more celebratory than like popping a bottle of champagne. So I say it was my last one, but it might not be. But at least I got to check off that I have in fact smoked a cigar. Item number 2 that I've accomplished was a lot more practical, and that was that I got CPR certified. So this was a personal one where I feel like everybody should have some sort of first aid training, if not CPR training, because so many times is it necessary in life when you least expect it. So it's nice to always just be prepared. I signed up for a free CPR class through a local city. I showed up. It was a 3.5-hour long day of not only first aid training, but also Heimlich maneuvers, CPR, mouth to mouth. And it was the typical, like, you're practicing on dummies sort of thing. So it was a fun class because it's exactly what you expect, but it was also so vitally important. There were so many things about CPR that I had misconceptions about. I'm pretty sure if I had to call 911 and they told me to do CPR, I'd be doing it wrong, mainly because it's really hard and really tiring. So you guys should go get CPR certified and let me know if you agree, because everybody should be CPR certified. I did vlog that whole experience, which I'll leave linked down below. So if you want to see a more detailed version, check that out. But that was one where it was definitely more of a personal enrichment bucket list item that I'm so happy that I did, because it could save a freaking life one day, and that's good enough reason for me. The next bucket list item that I've already accomplished is getting a new plant. And it's going okay so far. So I also documented this in another vlog that you guys can look at down below, but I never owned real plants. I was very adamant about having fake plants, and I still am. I am so pro fake plant because I don't like the maintenance of plants. I don't like the responsibility of having to keep a living thing alive. And because I don't have a great track record of keeping a plant alive. So I went and I bought a new snake plant that I have named Wednesday, and then I repropagated my pothos plant Sunday because I may have accidentally killed her a little bit. She's still mostly alive. I say it's going okay so far because I just checked on my snake plant today and there's like 2 dead leaves, and that shouldn't happen for a snake plant. So I don't know what it is, but this was one of those bucket list items where everybody needs to try to raise a living creature, whether it's a goldfish, a dog, a human, or in my case, a succulent that I'm struggling to keep alive. But I accomplished that off my list in terms of getting a new one. So stay tuned until my birthday to see if I kept it alive for this long. The next item I have accomplished was also in a vlog very briefly, and that was volunteering at a food bank. I have volunteered through LA Works several times in tree planting or working with single mothers. But I had never worked at a food pantry specifically, and that was always something that really interested me, was like the preparation and distribution of those necessary grocery items. And so I accomplished this. I highly recommend everybody else to. This was one of those items that was, again, a little bit more for personal enrichment, but also just to like better your community. Everybody should be donating their time at least some point in the year. So this one was really important for me to not only expand my volunteering opportunities, but really be reminded of why helping others is so important. I feel like there's such a better way I can explain the importance of volunteering, but like, I don't want to come across as preachy, but you should be volunteering your time. And so this was a really meaningful one, and I will be volunteering with them again. And I'm really happy that I was able to accomplish this one. The next bucket list item that I accomplished was hugging a redwood. So go check out my San Francisco travel vlog. I went out there for my best friend Oscar's birthday, and on my list was to see a redwood tree. Now, I am from California, and I've never seen a redwood tree, even though they're apparently like everywhere. And I'm starting to think that like, yeah, I probably have seen one. But I really wanted to like get the grandiose view of a redwood tree where it's so tall and so wide that it would absolutely blow my freaking mind. Go watch the vlog because my mind wasn't super blown. It also had to do with the part of the Redwood Forest Park that we went to, so that was a little bit on me. But I did accomplish the bucket list item of hugging a redwood, which is something that everybody should do to get in tune with their nature. I don't want to explain like the reasoning behind every single bucket list item, besides the fact that they're life experiences that I think everybody should have, whether it's personally enriching, societally enriching. But this was one where I was just like, I've never seen a redwood. Let's cross that off the list. And the last one that I have accomplished on this list that I'll be sharing with you guys is I got a new piercing. So I had my ears pierced when I was a little wee tot, where I had no like real bodily autonomy. It's not like it was my choice. And so I wanted to get a piercing because I've never chosen to get my own piercing. So I got a second hole, nothing super crazy. I thought about getting like, I don't know, I was kind of mostly sticking to the ears, I guess. But that was included in my Phoenix travel vlog where I went on a girls trip with my mom and my sister. And I knew I wanted to get a piercing, and we were actually at this vintage flea market and there were ear piercers there. And I was like, oh, well, I guess this is the universe telling me to do it now. So I just did it right then and there at like a fair. But loving the results so far. I love that I can double up on jewelry. I will say though, I am not a jewelry person at all. I can't wear rings. I have sensory issues. I wear my Fitbit. That's usually it. Every now and then I'll throw on a necklace or some earrings by Jamie Noel, which is my sister's earring brand. And so having to keep your piercings in at all times has been a sensory nightmare. Sleeping in earrings is not something I've ever done, and I'm so hyper aware of them at all times that I'm like, oh my gosh, how do people do this? I hate that I'm just wearing jewelry all the time. But now that I'm like 3 weeks out of it, I look in the mirror and I'm like, it kind of looks like I'm halfway ready just because I have earrings in, so that's kind of fun. I don't know why I'm talking the most about getting my ears pierced. That's probably like the most boring thing on this list. But I accomplished it, and so I encourage you to take some bodily autonomy and do some body modifications, like get your ears pierced. So those were some of the things that I have already accomplished. Again, head over to my Instagram to see what's remaining on my 30 before 30 bucket list. But you guys, I'm feeling so motivated and so inspired that I would love to continue this series beyond my 30th birthday and perhaps do some of those bucket list items that you guys suggested that maybe I have done in my adulthood, but they're more just suggestions of bucket list items. You know, somebody suggested I go whitewater rafting in Colorado, and I'm like, sick, I've done that. Other suggestions were like, buy a designer purse. And I said, you must not know who I am and that I'm the cheapest bitch on planet Earth, so that one's gonna be a no from me. But I can suggest it to you guys in some sort of video and take somebody else to buy their designer purse. So I don't know, I just have so many ideas and I'm so excited about it, and I wanted to tell you guys about this because if you do follow me on my main channel, I will be taking a momentary pause on that channel. I might do 1 or 2 videos in the next couple of months, but these bucket list items, you guys, are no joke. I'm really trying to add more story elements leading up to the actual event, some interviews, and I just don't want to stretch myself too thin and worry about doing other videos on my main channel. So apologies there if you don't see any output from me until July. But because I am so motivated and dedicated to this series specifically, I want to, again, focus on that production value, really add in some interviews, some story elements. But I guess an exciting update is I bought a vlog camera. I can't even say that word. That was so embarrassing. I've always said, like, I'm not gonna buy a vlog camera. No one watches these vlogs. It gets like 200 views. But I caved and I bought one off eBay. This one was pretty cheap. It's the Sony ZV-F1. I don't know. It's kind of like the cheapest vlog camera you can get, and I got it used. But I used it already for a video coming up, and the quality, chef's kiss. It looks so great, and I'm like, where has this been my whole life? I will have to get over like the shyness of now filming with a camera. Before, when I would film with my phone in Target, it kind of looked like I was just FaceTiming my mom. Now it's gonna be like, look at that influencer over there vlogging her shopping cart at Target. How embarrassing. Well, you know what? I am a vlogger, okay? So I'm just gonna embrace it because I bought a vlog camera and I can do what I want now, within privacy limits of where I'm filming. I'm also going all out on this series because I will be spending a lot of money on these items. I kind of started budgeting about $100 per item. Now, some items are gonna be way less. For example, I want to learn how to solve a dang Rubik's Cube. That's just gonna be the price of the Rubik's Cube, nothing more. But I also need to take a solo trip. That's gonna be a lot more than $100, so it kind of evens out. So I will be spending oh my God, thousands of dollars on this bucket list, but I'm hoping that it'll be the most exciting, productive, and memorable few months of my life, that it's all worth it. But that also that this series does kind of well to like help me recoup some of those losses, you know? So that's why I'm trying. And the other main reason that I kind of really want to fully dedicate myself and full send it on this series that I just made up a few months ago is because I'm kind of ready for the next chapter in my life. And I don't know what that's gonna be. No, I do know what it's gonna be. I want to apply to be a flight attendant soon. I think I want to be a flight attendant, and that might mean a career change. It might mean less social media. It might be abandoning my social media career. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm kind of coming to the point where I'm like, all right, I've been doing social media for several years now, and it's still not my full-time job. let's go explore all of the other interests that I have in life, whether it's traveling, becoming a flight attendant, going back into marketing, going back to school. There are so many different options. And so I kind of want to do this series, go all out, and if it's the last thing I do, then at least it was a good one. I feel like this is a goodbye. It's not goodbye, you guys. Don't listen to me. I'm just saying some big changes are going to happen this year in my career. I don't know what they're going to be. But that's why I really wanted to do this one last series to see if social media is where I belong, if it takes off, or if it was kind of a wonderful end cap to a new beginning. So I don't know. I'm not leaving yet though. So that is the overview of my 30 before 30 bucket list. I will, I guess, be having about 15 vlogs for the remaining items. I might have some more normal vlogs sprinkled in there. You know, I still go to Target and do my shopping, and I still have my Nuuly hauls, so I'll still post some of those. But they will be more episodic and focusing on these bucket list items and recommending to you guys some cool life experiences that I recommend you accomplish. So like I mentioned, one of the next vlogs coming up is my experience going to the Renaissance Fair. I've started editing that video and I have like 2 hours of footage to sort through, and I'm like, God, I get a vlog camera for one day and I go B-roll crazy. This is gonna take me forever. One of the other fun bucket list items was to watch all of the Star Wars movies. So not only did I watch all the Star Wars movies, but I hosted an epic May the 4th be with you party for my coworkers. And let me tell you, I have a lot of thoughts about Star Wars. Guess you'll have to watch to see what they are. But overall, I just wanted to thank you guys for your love and support and for watching these vlogs. I have a lot of subscribers on this channel, mostly from my YouTube shorts. I don't actually get that many views on the vlogs, but the vlogs have been my passion lately. I dip my toes into every single social media platform there is out there on the internet. So I love my fun photo shoots on Instagram. I make silly videos on TikTok. I tweet. I make a main channel videos about story times and dabbling in fun little projects. And this vlog channel has really become kind of like my baby of what I would love to do in the future in terms of a career in social media. It's where my interests lie. And it's what gets me excited to like turn on a camera and just film my boring everyday life. Like I mentioned, these don't get that many views, but it's become such a passion project. And I feel like I know each and every one of you who comments on a personal level. And it's just so endearing to see you constantly like comment, but hype me up, encourage me. You know, when I talk about my depressive episodes, you're there for me. When I'm doing fun stuff, it feels like you're there with me. And I just can't express enough gratitude for each and every one of you for watching these, because you're the reason I've stayed motivated this far. And I can't wait to take you along into this journey and into the next chapter of my life that is 30 years old. So thank you guys so much. Again, make sure to follow along on Instagram, because there will be all of my photo and written details of this bucket list, as well as all my other life updates. But I will see you in the next upcoming 30 before 30 bucket list vlogs. Toodles!